Just quick before I start on new Earl Sweatshirt, this is not the video I said would come next, but I felt like working on this one more. There was also a video Davis recorded about his camping trip, but it kind of fell through. Don't worry guys, there will be a new Davis video in the works as soon as I can record with him. You should see on screen a list of videos that may happen before 2019 starts. You got Animal Crossing, OST, the Denzel Curry concert, Avantdale Bowling Club. Only ones I can guarantee are best songs / albums of the year, and something else I won't reveal quite yet. Anyways, let's get started. I cannot play with them. Way back in the day, Earl Sweatshirt was a part of an up-and-coming alternative hip-hop collective known as Odd Future, which I have not checked out too much of. Of course, I should, because that was where Tyler the Creator and Frank Ocean also got their starts. I have loved some of their work, whether it be Flower Boy, Blonde, Channel Orange, etc. Apparently, Earl was actually forced to stop rapping by his mom, who sent him to Samoa to go to a school for at-risk boys. And then he was brought back to the USA by Tupac's first manager. Yep. Earl was the last of that trio I checked out. I got his album, I Don't Like Stuff. I Don't Go Outside from the library back in June, and I downloaded Solace shortly thereafter. A very common thing I hear with I Don't Like Stuff is that people thought it was okay at first and then eventually revisited it, only to find that they loved it, whether it be Anthony Fantano talking about it or the Rate Your Music score going way up. Personally, as someone who kind of got into music in general with abstract hip-hop, Milo, MF Doom, Danny Brown, who had a track with Earl, actually, I think it's solid. It's dark, brooding, spacey, like you're exploring a cavern of Earl's mind. Some of the tracks don't have anything to really draw you in, but one in particular, Grief, is amazing. It balances somber with this mean but laid-back delivery. There's the ambient synth, I think, with these bit crunch drums. The hook is catchy, even if it's super paranoid and lonely. The potential in this track is undeniable. I next listened to Solace, which was a 10-minute EP released as a YouTube video of a pink square. And it is one of the most powerful pieces of music I've ever heard. The production is pretty loose and lo-fi, but it manages to be super immersive, especially between Earl's verses, where he talks about his situation and mental state. It's pretty bleak, it's despondent. The last few lines of the record always hit me the hardest. Cue the music.
To tell the truth, I'm at a loss of friends. But time waits for no man, and death waits with cold hands. I'm the youngest old man that you know. If your soul intact, let me know.
It's a super hard-hitting EP and a brutally honest portrayal of depression. I highly recommend it. The world would have to wait 3.5 more years to hear a new Earl project, and he pretty much disappeared from music entirely. He had that verse on Atrocity Exhibition I mentioned, and he would not have another official feature until the interlude appropriately called New Earl Sweatshirt on Vince Staples' newest project that released a month ago, actually. Exactly a month ago. Look at that. A few days later, Earl finally returned with the single Nowhere to Go, which seemed to expand upon the sound he started to utilize on Solace. These imprecise samples arranged loosely. Earl comes through with some introspective bars. This track previewed a lot of what's to come on the new album, whether it be the liberal use of vocal samples or the general briefness of the track. Another teaser was released a week or two later, and then the album finally came out. Now, the title of this video finally comes into play. This album is a lot more conceptual than I expected. It's 15 tracks strong and 25 minutes in length, with each song ranging from 1 to 2 minutes. The album art is just a motion-blurred phone photo of Earl himself. The inside cover of the CD is the exact same thing as the back cover. My point is a big part of this album's aesthetic is sounding very unprofessional and sort of apathetic. Now, I'm fairly certain this is intentional, because Earl seems to still be very invested in what he puts out. Look at his interview with Zane Lowe. I'm pretty convinced it was to curb people's expectations. Understandably, after a hiatus of that length, they were astronomical. The downside to that is that people are going to think that this album is low effort, and to my ears, this album doesn't sound low effort so much as it does formless, I would say. Not in a bad way, it's just super abstract. The way the soul samples are used to create these totally unexpected grooves in tracks are certainly reminiscent of J Dilla. Unfortunately, one consequence of the really dense beats is that it's almost unlistenable on speakers. I got this album on CD the day it came out, and listening in a car, you cannot make out his lyrics at all. Keep in mind, this isn't due to the CD's quality. I ripped it and it sounds just fine, but rather the fact it simply works way better on headphones. For me, the emotional centerpiece of this LP is the track Playing Possum, which features a speech by his mother and a poem written and read by his father, who actually passed away earlier this year, back in January. The way they're spliced in the track kind of makes for a pretty psychedelic atmosphere, too. Remember to love your parents, listeners, even if they send you to Samoa sometimes. The other features on here include the last couple lines off On the Way, ! Which are delivered by Gio Escobar from Standing on the Corner. Yeah, I don't know, it's 4 lines, they're not too memorable, honestly. And then there's also Navy Blue on The Mint, who shows off this relentless flow at the beginning of the track, and in sort of default, the best rapper featured on the album because Gio's contribution is so short. Those aren't the only collaborators Earl works with. 2/3 of the tracks credit more than just Earl with writing. That's a bit disconcerting when considering how personal this record is, but it hasn't impacted my experience of the lyrics negatively. Plus, I don't know the full writing process. Maybe Earl did all of the heavy lifting and the co-writers just suggested certain rhymes. Worst case scenario, the whole project was actually written by the ghost of Christmas past. That's not too probable, but it is December now, so you never know. Happy December, guys. Smash Bros. Is coming out in a few days. I'm pretty hyped. Getting back to the record, I think it's similar to I Don't Like Stuff in the sense where there aren't too many catchy bits from Earl himself. A lot of the songs don't even have time for choruses. The engagement for me comes from, again, the soul samples. But even then, I can see this being a slow burner for many people, what with how brief and how dense it is. For me, it's yet another fantastic 20-minute hip-hop album from 2018. Most of the issues I had with it were fairly minor and not enough to keep me from playing this record on repeat for the rest of the year. I don't really give out scores because I'm not much of a reviewer, but if I had to, I guess it would be something like a high 8 to a low 9. Smell you later, people. Next video is either going to be a Davis thing. Maybe if I'm lazy about it, it's going to be the best songs or albums of the year. Maybe if I'm really lazy about it, it's going to be that Last Secret video. Either way, please subscribe so you can stay informed about that stuff. Thanks for watching.